If you had told anyone just a few years ago that Prince Harry, the man who gave up everything for Meghan Markle, would now be quietly considering divorce, they would have laughed. But now that the fairy tale is unraveling, and it's happening slowly, painfully, it's honestly sad. Sad that it's come to this. That Harry keeps trying, but nothing ever really pleases her. She seems like one of those people who are never satisfied, and maybe never will be. What started out as a bold love story, a rebellion against the crown, has shifted into something much darker. There's no palace intrigue anymore, no royal feuds taking center stage. Just two people publicly coming undone. And according to those close to him, Harry's finally had enough. But this didn't start with a screaming match. It started with something far more subtle, a magazine article. The very same outlet that usually protects Meghan's image suddenly ran a story that painted Harry as lost, weak, and emotionally adrift in California. There were no quotes from him. No pushback. Just quiet insinuations that Meghan was doing all the heavy lifting while Harry wandered aimlessly. Some called it a harmless PR piece, but to Harry, it felt like a knife to the back. Because this wasn't about just one article, it was a pattern. Meghan has always been a master of media manipulation. That's just the truth. Through carefully selected interviews, documentaries, and photo ops, she's built a reputation for resilience, grace, and independence. But this time, the story shifted, Harry became the problem. And for a man who sacrificed everything for her, that cut deep. Even people who once defended Meghan noticed. Angela Levin, someone who's closely followed Harry's emotional journey, didn't mince words. She called it betrayal. And she wasn't wrong. This isn't about royal gossip anymore. Harry always expected the media to come after him. He knew the British press wouldn't give Meghan a fair shot. But he thought she was on his side. That they were in this together, against the firm, against the headlines, against everything. That unity was what made their story so powerful. But insiders say that unity is gone. Behind closed doors, things have reportedly been strained for a long time. Friends Harry's reconnected with say he's not the same. Not just California chill, not in that relaxed kind of way. They say he's distant. Paranoid. Emotionally exhausted. And the saddest part? He didn't even seem to realize how isolated he had become until recently. People close to him say Meghan has been the one making all the decisions, everything from Netflix deals to who stays in their orbit. Harry, the once confident, charismatic prince, now barely recognizes the person he sees in the mirror. He's even begun quietly reaching out to palace aides, testing the waters, asking what a potential return to the UK might look like. Nothing dramatic. Nothing official. But it's happening. That alone speaks volumes. The fact that he's even considering going back to the institution he once condemned shows just how heavy the burden has become. Meanwhile, Meghan is full steam ahead, reportedly focused on her own rebrand. Hollywood deals, solo appearances, and whispers that she's even phasing Harry out of her public image. She's not retreating. She's pivoting, smartly, strategically, for business. But in the middle of all this PR reshuffling is a man who gave up everything for her, and now finds himself completely alone. This isn't a love story anymore. It's starting to feel more like a trap. Harry walked into it with his eyes wide open, but now he's quietly looking for an exit. That Montecito mansion may look like paradise from the outside, gated, pristine, stunning, but inside, the silence is growing louder. Staff have even said the house feels emptier, colder. Harry now spends long hours alone, away from the cameras, avoiding public life. He's not angry. He's not lashing out. He's just fading. And it's not just the headlines or the isolation. It's the creeping realization that the life he built might have been based more on hope than reality. He's retreating into rooms where no one follows him, slipping into a version of himself that doesn't speak much, doesn't argue, just exists. Meghan, on the other hand, is thriving in the chaos. Her team is busier than ever: calls, meetings, branding strategy, fresh connections with powerful figures she knew before she became a duchess. But none of it includes Harry. He's in limbo. Too proud to go back, too broken to stay. He's been sending late-night messages to cousins, old friends, even people from his military days. Not to ask for anything big, just to talk. To hear a voice from a time when he still knew who he was. One source said Harry recently told someone, "I don't even know what we're fighting for anymore." That line hits hard. Because this isn't about titles or scandals anymore, it's about identity. He gave up a country, a role, a family legacy, for love. But what has he really gained? There was freedom, yes. But freedom without a sense of purpose is its own kind of prison. And that now infamous People magazine article? That might have been the spark, but the fire's been burning for a while. Harry didn't approve that story. He was reportedly blindsided, just like everyone else. But what hurt wasn't just the message, it was the timing. They had made promises to stop airing personal drama in public. They were supposed to be healing. But Meghan's camp dropped a piece that cast Harry as emotionally unstable and weak. He saw that not as partnership, but as positioning. When he confronted her, there was no shouting match, no drama. Meghan, apparently, calmly defended the article. Said it was necessary to set the tone for upcoming media coverage. But to Harry, it felt like something shattered. Not just a marriage moment, but a breach of trust. The public is beginning to notice too. Even people who used to root for Meghan are rethinking things. The image of a strong, silenced woman is being slowly replaced with something colder, more calculated. And to be clear, there's nothing wrong with ambition. But what's happening now feels like narrative manipulation, and Harry is being forced to play catch-up in a story he no longer understands. There are now quiet preparations being made on Meghan's side. Legal teams reviewing options, PR reps drafting statements, just in case. Not only for a divorce, but for every possible outcome: separation, reconciliation, brand split. It's all on the table. But for Harry, the real fear isn't losing Meghan, it's what comes after. The critics. The humiliation. The quiet. He bet everything on this love. And now, when the stakes are highest, he's realizing he might be holding a losing hand. The idea of going back to the UK feels like defeat, but the life he's in now doesn't feel like winning either. Those close to him say he's not just pulling back, he's waking up. Not in some dramatic, movie-style awakening. Just slowly, sadly recognizing that the home he built is missing a foundation, and the walls are beginning to shift. There's still a version of this story where Harry stays quiet, rides it out, keeps smiling for the cameras, pretending that California life still fits. But that version is fading fast. Because even during the royal chaos, he had an identity: he was a soldier, a son, a prince. In California, he's not even sure what he is anymore. Meghan was built for this world. She knows how to maneuver the brand. Harry's still trying to figure out how to be useful without a crown.